Is Chase Young here long term? What do you think?
I
Nice
want
debut.
him to be here long term. Because I think he could, Chase Young could be fantastic in this defense. And I think we saw this week that was the other impact. It's like it wasn't about Steve's seat. It was about you had tighter coverage on the back end. You had a little bit more coordination on the back end, and you had a little bit more heat up front. And you have a guy who sets the better. I think Young sets a better edge than Gregory.
Oh, no question about it. No question about it. I'm looking at Spot Track right now, and it says that his market value is about $13 million. So I think what could happen, maybe he signs a 1-year deal with the Niners. Maybe he goes to free agency and doesn't find that big 4 or 5 year contract he's looking for and says, I'll go back to the Niners for 1 year, bet on myself, and then get it next year. That could happen. I don't know if the Niners are going to give him a multi-year contract or that he would take one, because it seems like they can't afford another high-priced D-lineman. And it seems like Chase Young could get that big contract if he plays for the Niners for a while.
Well, there's, the one thing we kind of know is that they're not going to be able to retain all these guys. So somebody of the high price crew will not be here. Is that going to be Armstead? Is it Kittle? Is it Juszczyk? Is it Chase Young? Is it Ayuk? I could see them moving Ayuk for a high pick and using that high pick on a tackle and trying to,
or a wide receiver. Although Ronnie Bell's pretty good.
Or there's also, it seems like every year in the draft, I'll say this. I just watched Oregon SC. Jerry Rice's kid is good. And I would love to see Jerry Rice's kid on the 49ers. And I think you could probably get him in the 3rd or 4th round. So, he was terrific against Oregon the other night. So, and it's good. It's a good receiver draft. There's a bunch of good receivers all across the country. So, but I think they're going to need to move Ayuk to maybe, if they go deep in the playoffs, to get a high enough pick to get the tackle that they want, because they got to get a tackle.
I would agree. How many teams spend more than $20 million a piece on 2 wide receivers? That's a lot. I think it's a mistake. I'd rather spend on offensive linemen than wide receivers. The Chiefs routinely spend on offensive linemen over wide receivers. They traded Tyreek Hill, said, thank you very much, we can replace you. We're going to get a left guard, a left tackle, a right tackle. Like, I don't know. I would. Brandon Ayuk, really good player, hell of a player. I'd trade him. Get an offensive lineman.
If they were both free agents, I'd trade Debo and keep Ayuk. But since you've already paid Debo,
right
now it's a matter of, and you're paying him $20 million, and I believe the going rate price for Ayuk's going to be $20 million. Are you going to have $40 million in receivers on a team where you run the ball a ton, and you've got McCaffrey, and you don't throw to your receivers that much in the red zone? I don't know. It just seems like, I'd love to retain all these guys, and there's a way. Hey, if Ayuk balls out, and there's a way to keep him. I think a lot of these free agent questions are going to get decided on how these guys play from this point to the end of this year.
Yeah, agree. Brandon Green, $2. Thank you very much. 808 Niner. Fred finally said it yesterday. They're finally focusing one game at a time. None of this revenge tour, first seed, or Super Bowl talk. Get a Super Bowl, then talk. Finally.
Were they thinking further down the road than one game? Is that what
I don't know. I guess so.
I never.
Caplow ENT says, I think it's a mix of healthy because of bye week addition of Chase and change in coverage was the difference for the D. I think the bye week rest was very helpful for this team that was fatigued. Nothing but love for the content, says Papa Phil. Thank you very much.